Dazai surveyed the scene before him. Balloons, streamers, a table laden with snacks, all wasted on an empty room. His party, a meticulously planned celebration of chaos, was off to a terrible start. No one had come. How dull, he sighed, swirling the contents of his glass. Looks like I'll have to add some spice to this shindig myself. A mischievous glint sparkled in his eyes. He whipped out his phone, a sinister plan already forming in his mind. This party was far from over. He knew just the person to liven things up. Chuya adjusted his hat, grumbling about another errand. Suddenly, a hand clamped over his mouth, dragging him into the shadows. He struggled, his ability activating instinctively. Gravity bent to his will. What the? Dazai! He sputtered, recognizing the infuriating smirk before him. Chuya, my dear friend, Dazai chirped, brandishing a bottle of baby oil. You simply must be my guest of honor. Before Chuya could react, he found himself doused in oil, his movements slick and unpredictable. He was unceremoniously bundled into the back of a van. One by one, Dazai collected his unsuspecting guests. Kunikida, lured by the promise of a perfectly scheduled meeting. Higuchi, enticed by a fabricated message from Akutagawa. Atsushi, tricked with a plea for help involving a stray cat. Even the reclusive Rampo wasn't safe. Dazai tempted him with a rare, limited edition snack, effectively neutralizing his deductions. His final target was an unsuspecting grandma walking her poodle. Everyone loves a good party, he hummed, tossing another unwilling participant into the growing crowd in his van. The music pulsed, vibrating through the floor and up their bodies. Dazai had outdone himself. Lights strobed, illuminating the bewildered faces of his kidnapped guests. In the corner, a mountain of snacks trembled precariously. Behind a makeshift DJ booth constructed from beer crates and a stolen table, Mori orchestrated the chaos. His instrument? A monstrous contraption of blinking lights and dials, the Freakatron 9000. Let's get this party started, Mori boomed, unleashing a wave of sound that shook the very foundation of the building. The music was an intoxicating blend of techno, J-pop, and whale noises. It was bizarre. It was perfect. Section 5. Oiled up revelry. The initial shock gave way to a night of unadulterated mayhem. People danced with an almost frenzied energy, fueled by a potent mix of Dazai's spiked punch and the sheer absurdity of the situation. More guests arrived, seemingly drawn by the pulsing rhythm and the promise of free snacks. Locals, colleagues, and even a stray dog found themselves caught up in the madness. The air grew thick with the scent of sweat, cheap booze, and baby oil. This is... Kunikida began, his glasses askew, before succumbing to the beat and pulling a reluctant Atsushi onto the makeshift dance floor. Section 6. The wrong anime. A figure materialized in a flash of blue light. Gojo Satoru, fresh from sealing a cursed spirit, had followed a particularly potent residual energy signature. It led him straight to Dazai's party. Whoa, this is wild, Gojo exclaimed, taking in the scene with wide, curious eyes. What kind of cursed technique is this? He plucked a cup of punch from a passing guest, downing it in one gulp. Not bad, but needs more sugar. He didn't notice the wary glances from the other partygoers. He didn't notice the way Dazai's grin turned predatory. He definitely didn't notice Chuya cracking his knuckles, a dangerous glint in his eye. Section 7. Gojo's beatdown. You! Chuya growled, pointing an accusing finger at Gojo. You're in the wrong anime, buddy. And with that, all hell broke loose. Chuya launched himself at Gojo, his gravity manipulation making him a blur of motion. Akutagawa, fueled by a potent cocktail of jealousy and spite, unleashed Rashomon. Gojo, caught off guard, found himself on the defensive. The partygoers, their initial hesitation forgotten, joined in with gusto. The room became a whirlwind of flailing limbs, glowing abilities, and the occasional flying snack. Gojo, despite his considerable power, was quickly overwhelmed. Section 8. A private after-party. Dazai watched the chaos unfold, a satisfied smirk on his face. His eyes, however, were fixed on a very disheveled, very oily Chuya. He leaned close, whispering in his ear. Come on, slug, he purred. Let's leave these losers to their brawl. Without waiting for a response, he dragged a sputtering Chuya through the throng, disappearing through a door marked, Keep Out. The sounds of their struggle were quickly drowned out by the ongoing brawl. Section 9. The morning after. The first rays of dawn illuminated a scene of utter devastation. The remnants of Dazai's party lay scattered across the room. Empty cups, discarded glow sticks, and a lone shoe adorned the sticky floor. One by one, the guests stirred, their bodies aching, their heads pounding. They stumbled out into the sunlight, covered in a sheen of sweat and oil. The events of the night before a hazy, confusing blur. Even Gojo, nursing a black eye and his pride, decided it was time to make a hasty retreat. Dazai's wild Diddy party was over, but the memory, like the lingering scent of baby oil, would remain.